Aloha and welcome. This is the Honu Flow. Can you dig it? I'm Kinu Gabriel, and here we are talking about how to patiently surf the currents of consciousness in today's world through listening and watching to these celestial events. So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Today, the moon is in Gemini. I'm just sharing my screen for those who are just listening. The moon is in Gemini, and right now I'm looking at Stellium application on Windows, and we're seeing the sun is like right at the right hind foot of Leo. So sun is what, 26 degrees? 26 degrees Leo. We can go to my thing here. 26 degrees Leo. Moon is 12 degrees Gemini in Ardra, and sun is in Uttara Phalguni. We have all the rest of the planets in their same position as last. Mars in Aries, 5 degrees retrograde, nonetheless. Mercury, 16 degrees Virgo, Jupiter, 24 degrees Sagittarius, Venus, 13 degrees Cancer, Saturn, 2 degrees going retrograde, as well as Jupiter, and then Rahu and Ketu just turned 1 degree, I believe last night, if not yesterday, possibly this morning, but yeah, just within the last 24 hours for sure. And so, yeah, now it's 1 degree. So just a little bit of switch up here. So let's see what's going on. You know, the first thing I would say is just how our thoughts really control our emotions. And our emotions have such an intense relationship to the way we perceive the world. You know, when we're looking at the past, or we're looking at our almost, you know, people say opinions, like, can I have your opinion? An opinion is really an estimated conclusion. That's what an opinion is. So you're asking, you know, for an opinion, hey, can I have your opinion on this? What you're really saying is, hey, can I have your, you know, estimated conclusion on this? And then a lot of people like judge other people by their estimated conclusions. They say, oh, what's your estimated conclusion on race? Or what's your estimated conclusion on politics? But like, that's not really that important. You know, people's estimations are really just for themselves. It's just for us to navigate our world. So, you know, when we're wrapped up in our estimated conclusions about the past or the future, or, you know, what's around us, what we like, what we don't like, we can be triggering ourselves. And what a crazy concept, right? Triggering yourself. Like, you know, you know, oh, I'm being triggered, or like, you know, we have all these like trigger warnings, but like, we trigger ourselves just by our own thoughts. We think about something random, like, you know, we think about, like, I know for me, it's, you know, like, you know, what's gonna happen in the future? You know, how am I gonna make money, or how am I gonna work and do this kind of thing, or whatever. And just thinking about it causes us some kind of reactionary emotion. You know, usually it's anxiety or fear or something like that for a lot of people. And for me sometimes too, it's courage and it's willingness and love. But it really just depends on what's inside of us, right? And so our thoughts, our own thoughts, can be a trigger for our emotions. And that's how we feel. So it's very important to understand that. And it's very important to understand that when we can take control of our thoughts and direct our thoughts towards, well, not even really that, place our mental activity inside of our principles, right? My teacher the other day was saying that a principle is something like the elements: earth, water, fire, air, borium, hydrogen, oxygen, the bondage capacity of H2O in all the variations of, whether it's structured H2O, H3O, or whatever, whatever it is. These are the principles of our life. There's moral principles, there's psychological and philosophical principles. And so when we place our thoughts inside of our principles, and we've thought about our principles, right? When we actually think about whether our principles are actually sound and are pragmatic to creating happiness for ourselves and others, right? Whether it's something that is actually useful. And if we have that, if we have some kind of wisdom inside of us, which we all do, and we all have the capacity to tap into that inner guru and that inner teacher and that inner wisdom, and expand our mind even more. So when we place our thoughts inside of our wise paradigm based on higher education and higher teachings, then our emotions aren't necessarily triggered in a detrimental way. If they are triggered, it's because we believe in something and our thoughts are sparking inspiration to do something based on what we believe and based on based on what we believe the principles are for reality. Basically, we believe that the world is a particular way. We believe that the principles of the world, that the foundation, the quote unquote laws or guidelines of the world, if you will, are a particular way. And then when we think those things, we emote them. And so really it's just about not letting sporadic, unkempt mind, untempered mind, direct our emotions just everywhere, anywhere, just following different pursuits. And I feel like a lot of us are learning that right now. A lot of us are getting really serious about our life and what we want to do in our life, because there's a lot of real stuff going on. Stuff that where you can't necessarily ignore. I mean, people are still doing it. People are still playing video games, still watching TV, and still checking out. But it's a little bit more stressful than normal because of everything that's happening in the world. So that's the first thing that I see here, really. Making sure I'm sharing the screen here for those who are watching. So yeah, that's like the biggest thing, is really just placing our mind in our principles, and that way our emotions are actually being guided by like a higher sort of condition. Our energetic motion is moving towards what's righteous and moving towards what's right, and not just the whims of our thoughts and our estimated conclusions, right? So that's kind of, I think, where that comes into play. Also interesting is that, there's a lot of vulnerability right now. I think that it's very easy to connect to our family, to our friends, to people who are going through suffering, the people who are going through, some kind of change in their life, people who are going through some kind of pain in their life. We're all suffering technically. We all have elements of suffering laden in our own existence. And most of that suffering is hidden. We can't even see it. So we go about our lives and we don't even really know that actually the way that we are cognizing the world is creating suffering for us, right? You can remember all of these patterns and these things that happen in your life over and over and over. Oh, how come I always attract this kind of person? Or how come I'm always poor? Or how come, I always get angry, or whatever? And that's because there's this mode of being that is causing suffering. It's basically a suffering state. So I think right now it's very easy to relate to people's pain and suffering states, but also just their pain, things that are happening in our life, various fires that are going on in our life. And to really connect with that and to generate a lot of compassion and to reach out to our family, to reach out to our friends, and really connect with people. I think that's very important right now. And if we're doing that within those principles, within a mind that's firmly set in a higher learning, a higher principle set, a higher school of thought, then we can actually give benefit again to ourselves and others. So yeah, Mercury has progressed a little bit, not too much since the last episode, but really it's 16 degrees right now. So this is an interesting number because it's like we're a little bit past the hump. Mercury's in second pada hasta nakshatra, which is really just about knowing that, yeah, you can create balance, you can plan for things, you can harmonize your life, you can get what you want, you can systematically sort of make a plan for what you're wanting and reevaluate the things that you're doing. All of that is fine. And sometimes you just have to have a little trust too. So that's how you really maintain balance, is not just letting everything be, I pray this happens to me and I pray this happens to me. I mean, no, you need to kind of be active, like we are in all, all includes I, but I doesn't include all. So when you're in the all, you need to think about how the all is functioning. You need to think about your place in everything. You need to think about the fact that when you want something, it's also going to affect everything and everyone else. When you're doing something, it's also going to affect everything and everyone else. When you're being some kind of role, when you're identifying with some kind of role, you're affecting yourself, you're affecting everything and everyone else. So in that, there is also a trust from everything else that needs to be applied. So it's a balance. It's a kind of wu wei. It's not all the way over here, it's not all the way over here. So yeah, you definitely can create balance. You definitely can create relationships. You can create and manifest the things that you want and the things that you need. And also there is a certain amount of trusting that particular things will come to you, trusting the gravitational feminine principle of the cosmos, along with the masculine principle. So, that's kind of where Mercury is in Virgo right now, really kind of getting past the hump of Hasta and our, more based, fearful natures about not having everything and needing to work super hard to, get the right stuff and get all the things. And, we're comfortable with our work now, and we're able to, maybe think a little bit more about what we're doing and how that's connected to the rest of the cosmos, and really have a sense of balance between the two. So, that's one thing that I'm seeing with Mercury and Virgo. Saturn retrograde now is what, 8th house from Moon and Gemini. That's a very interesting placement, going to be in that for a couple days, 2 or 3 days. I'm assuming, actually, it's going to move through Gemini fairly quickly. So let's go over to the 13th, and we'll just take a quick peek. Yeah, so 13th, it goes into Cancer. So today and tomorrow will be in Gemini. Yeah, I would definitely say that, we have a lot of weird ideas about our work and about our existence and about why we're here as a collective. We have a lot of, just that statement. We, like, humanity, whether you want to say we're programmed or we're not programmed, or, we used to have the right idea and we don't now, or we never had the right idea and we do now, or something like that. Humanity has a lot of weird ideas about why we're here and what we're doing while we're here. And so now is a great time to go within ourself, go within yourself, go within the self, go internally, inside, deep into meditation, and use our emotional intelligence to really understand our motivations behind our existence and how we can expand those motivations to be more useful to ourselves and others. It's a really great time to do that. It's a really great time to go inside and think about the way that we're thinking, think about what we're wanting, think about what we're working for, think about our ulterior motives, because we know our ulterior motives. A lot of times we kind of bullshit ourselves and we say, and forgive me if there's any children listening, a lot of times we kind of just really lie to ourselves and we're completely dishonest. Someone said to me the other day, please be honest with yourself, and I took that counsel, even though there was some negative energy around it. I took it and I meditated on it. And that's what one of my teachers, Jiddu Krishnamurti, says all the time. Is like, if someone says something to you, think about it. And if it's not true, let it go, and just look at things like very neutrally in that way. And I think that that's a great attitude to have with this, Saturn 8th from the moon right now, and just being able to really look at our thoughts and look at what we like and what we don't like, but also look at the inner, deeper motivations of our actions and why we're doing the way that, doing things the way that we're doing things, why we are existing the way we're existing, right? Why we're taking on the roles that we are. And maybe those things need to be reevaluated. Maybe the way that we're existing needs to be reevaluated. Maybe we're thinking that we really need to be working for money and we really need to be working for success and to win, when what we really want is just to provide for our family and to be loved by our mothers and our wives, or to be loved by ourselves, right? To have compassion for ourselves. And we really just want to work for other people and just give a lot of love to other people and have people value the work that we do for them, right? And maybe it's not all about the money. So like there's inner motives that we have that perhaps we could look at during this time. And I think that would be A+ for today and tomorrow, and even on the 13th, just as a great thing to meditate on. So yeah, Mars retrograde with Uranus. Uranus has been chilling in Aries for a while, but Mars is here, so definitely a lot of you could say spontaneous, spontaneity, a lot of spontaneity and spontaneous success. This, I know I experienced it myself, this kind of random feeling, seemingly random feeling of like having a lot of wishy-washy, having a lot of like, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know. I didn't like, really, it just like comes like, okay, forget it. Forget all that nonsense. Forget all those thoughts. I'm doing this. Bam. And like you do it. And I've been experiencing it. If you haven't been experiencing it, you probably will, especially as Mars goes into Pisces and comes back into Aries. So as of right now, yeah, I would say spontaneous success, and just connecting with this idea of what we're fighting for. And maybe reevaluating, the game plan, reevaluating the battle plan, reevaluating what winning is. We got into the war because, the king stole our wife. So we want to get our wife back. And now we realize that our wife was actually on the king's side the whole time. And the plot twist is she is the daughter of the old king, and she meant to come here and ruin the kingdom. So now we got to rethink, oh man, why are we in this fight again? So yeah, rethinking what we're doing, rethinking the battle, rethinking the fight, like redirecting what winning is for us. That's an A+ right now. And especially with the moon and Gemini, and really just, a lot of what's going on right now, I think this is just a great time to reevaluate our mind and the various things going on with our successes, with our family, with ourselves, and our own power and our own ego and the things that we're creating. you know, issues that we have around abundance and about actually being taken care of by the Mother Earth, being taken care of by other people, trusting the world, trusting other people, trusting ourselves, you know, and being in the right relationship. And in all these things, it's really redirecting our emotional power in a way that is going to benefit ourselves and others, right? So that's kind of the idea is right now it's a great time to rethink things, rethink the battle, rethink what we're working for, rethink what we're living for, rethink our principles and making sure they're in alignment. And we're getting a lot of opportunities to live our principles, and we're getting a lot of opportunities to face our principles against other people who have different principles and who actually believe that hydrogen isn't hydrogen, it's boron, and boron isn't boron, it's calcium, you know, or something like that, you know, someone who has like a completely different principle set of the world than us. And really, you know, standing by what we believe in, and also having an open mind to, you know, having the ability to expand our mind to something new, to the fact that maybe we could be wrong, or necessarily it's not even really wrong here with Jupiter in Sagittarius. It's just a level of pragmatism and things working out. Does it get you to your goal, or does it not? That's really what the principle is all about. The principle is like a means to an end in a way. You know, you can worship the principle, that's fine, but worshiping the principle for an inherent quality of the principle itself just because might not get you to where you want to be. You know, it's not to say you can just make up anything willy-nilly, but you know, you can have a expanded outlook. We can have an expanded outlook for our, you know, mental paradigm of how we are cognizing the world, and that can expand to something that is greater, something that works even better, right? So it's not necessarily about being right or wrong. So, you know, we're having to confront our principles with other people, and, you know, opening up that mindset and having it not being about being right or wrong, but just about, well, is this going to expand me, or is this going to shrink me? Is this going to bring me to my goal faster, better, more efficiently? Is this going to bring this other person to the goal, or is it not? Maybe we have different goals. So just really reevaluating our principle set in that way. And, you know, again, this is all an internal situation. So, okay, so I think that's it. Much love. If you like this, please support me. If this is on YouTube, please like. If you are seeing this on YouTube, please like. Go to my Jaguar Power Astrology page and please like that. If you'd like a reading, you can contact me on that page as well. God bless you. Walk in love and peace in your heart.